In this video, we are looking at a potential for a major across the Mississippi and Ohio valleys. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a moderate risk for severe thunderstorms and a 15% hatched risk for tornadoes. The Midwest could also see up to a foot of snowfall. Alright, we're going to start off by looking at the future radar hour by hour throughout this afternoon into this evening, into even the overnight hours of these storms targeting this area. And let's start off here. This is going to be about, right now when I'm recording this, about 2 p.m. And as you can see, we are starting to see some of those thunderstorms pop up around the Illinois region. We are starting to see some rain showers from this low pressure system around Missouri and Illinois, but not really much going on yet. And as we move on throughout the afternoon, we can see some supercells possibly developing there in Arkansas and Missouri. That's going to be around 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. As we move forward into 5 p.m., you start to see some very miniature supercells starting to develop around that Mississippi Valley area. Some of those storms now crossing the Mississippi River, and we're reaching to more of 6 p.m. You start to see more widespread supercells developing along the Mississippi River. That is now heading into east into Kentucky and Tennessee. As you can see, more storms are developing in western Arkansas by 6 p.m. You get to 7 p.m., you start to see some of these supercells looking a lot like tornadic supercells with that hook echo already on the HRRR model, which is quite concerning here, as we've seen this multiple times with several different tornado outbreaks that I have covered. You sometimes do see already hook echoes on these storms in future radar mode on the HRRR model, which is quite scary to say the least. As you move on later here throughout the evening, you get to 8 p.m. As you can see, those storms are looking very ferocious there along the Mississippi Valley, mostly in the Mississippi River in Tennessee and Kentucky. You're starting to see some pretty dangerous looking storms there, even in Illinois. Northern Illinois and even Chicago could see some of those severe storms and tornadoes throughout tonight. We'll look at the severe risk in just a moment after this future radar here. But let's go ahead and let's move forward here. Those supercells are looking very ferocious there, with a bunch of hook echoes already showing on the HRRR model by 9 p.m. And it's definitely looking very ferocious again, very scary storms they're going to be looking like. We get to around 10 p.m. You see those storms looking very strong in Illinois, in Kentucky, Arkansas, Missouri are also seeing some very severe storms and possibly some strong tornadoes within those. We get to around later, around 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. You start to see some more storms even developing around Little Rock. In those line of storms now entering northern Indiana, even some storms in central Illinois still by 11 p.m. You see a line moving now into Kentucky. Once these lines do form, that tornado risk is going to kind of weaken a little bit, but there's still going to be a very high tornado risk throughout the nocturnal hours. This is 12 a.m. again, and you're still seeing some more storms developing around the Little Rock area. Those will travel eastward here, and as you reach into more of 1 a.m. on Saturday, this is these storms are again looking very strong still by 1 a.m. and they're going to continue traveling eastward by 3 a.m. Some of those storms that were tornadic look to be weakening by then, but you get more storms developing by 3 a.m. Once again, another round of these very severe storms in Tennessee, Kentucky, and now Mississippi is looking to get in on the fun by 5 or 6 a.m. And those massive line of storms, again, by the early morning hours of Saturday, 7 a.m., looks like those storms are going to travel in a very long line, several hundred miles, possibly. I think that might be even close to 1,000 miles long of storms, as that's starting off in Pennsylvania, going all the way down to Texas. So that could be definitely close to 1,000 miles long of storms. So definitely stay tuned to your local National Weather Service on all of that throughout overnight. Make sure you have that way to get those warnings out, including phone alerts, NOAA weather radio. If you have one, make sure it will alert you of those tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. These storms are going to be very dangerous throughout tonight, so definitely make sure you do have that way to get warnings. And if you are asleep, make sure you do have that way of warnings making you wake up. Make sure you have alerts that can wake you up in the event of those severe storms hitting you with possible tornadoes. Here's the latest Storm Prediction Center outlook. As you can see, we have a moderate risk for severe storms, including Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, a very tiny bit of Indiana there, and Tennessee. This is a extremely rare risk for December. We typically do see a few of these in the spring, but in December, this is quite rare. We don't usually see this type of risk in December. In 2020, we actually did see a moderate risk in January, which is, again, quite rare, and it's actually quite rare for spring even as well. So definitely, this is an extremely rare event here that's going to be happening throughout the overnight hours. We have that 15% chance of tornadoes, and pretty much that whole black shaded area is going to signify you may see upwards of EF2 to EF5 tornadoes in this region right here. That's including the 10% and 15% risk for tornadoes. We even have that 5% risk for tornadoes extending all the way up there into Indiana, almost northern Illinois there, Ohio over here, down here into Texas and Louisiana. We have that massive 5% risk for tornadoes and a little bit of a 2% risk for tornadoes on the edges of that. That's where you could see also a few tornadoes, probably not as strong, but strong tornadoes can happen out of this black shaded area, so definitely keep that in mind. Again, this is going to be happening over the overnight hours, so make sure you do have that way to get warnings and make sure they do wake you up if you are asleep. Wind risk, we only have a 30% chance for winds, which again is going to be very damaging throughout tonight due to those linear storm modes. We don't have a significant risk for winds up to 80 miles per hour, but definitely 70 miles per hour could definitely knock down some trees, power lines, and definitely straight line winds are sometimes as much dangerous as tornadoes, so make sure you do have that in mind. Hail is not going to be a big threat. We don't have a lot of cape usually in these kind of November, December outbreaks. We don't have a lot of cape, so it's not going to bring a huge hail threat. Usually that's in the summer and spring. Now we do have a mesoscale discussion now. Right now we have an increasing risk for supercells with the potential to produce severe hail and tornadoes by 4 to 6 p.m. Of course, we still have that hail risk, not a huge hail risk, but definitely that hail risk is going to be possible throughout Missouri, Arkansas, mainly those areas that's going to be hitting more the daylight hours. But once it goes into the overnight hours, that cape is going to drop substantially, and you're not going to see as much energy to keep those hailstorms alive. But definitely tornadoes is going to be one of those main threats, as well as damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any other update or live stream on this incoming tornado outbreak that's going to be happening later tonight into tomorrow morning. So stay tuned to your local National Weather Service. Keep an eye on radar, tornado warnings, and all of that. So make sure you do, again, in a tornado event, or if you get a tornado warning, get into your most interior room, lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and openings to the outdoor. Put as many walls as you can between you and the tornado, like a bathroom or closet. But anyways, stay safe. Also make sure to share this with your friends or family that may be in this tornado outbreak. We need to get this out to as many people as possible. But anyways, stay safe.